tradition turns to a division rival, San Antonio, with Detroit and Grant Hill coming in Thursday night, and then Hakeem Olajuwon and the champion Rockets on Saturday. And Rodney Rogers quickly gets into the flow and scores his first bucket.
Well, it didn't take him long now. One-on-one, first play of the game, and I'm telling you what, he is playing terrific still.
And Dan Issel has Rodney Rogers facing Robinson with the Mutombo against J.R. Reed. Sean Elliott, he's been playing 40 minutes a game, and in the first minute of play, an illegal defense is called against the Nuggets. The other night, what they have, 5 against Utah. And Dan Issel very early shaking his head and moaning in front of the Denver bench. Avery Johnson putting up some nice numbers, inserted in the starting lineup. 15 points and 6 assists a game. He's making sure to whip that ball around, and the 2 top players are Elliott and Robinson. There's a steal by Reggie Williams. Robert Pack, long pass to Rogers, and he goes in. Rodney Rogers, who leads the league in shooting percentage. 69% from the floor, has hit his first 2 shots. He's over 70% now, and Bob Hill has to call a timeout as Rodney Rogers, who's missed the last couple of games because of the toe injury, has struck for 2 quick baskets in a 4-0 Denver start. Chance to remind you that the Copper Mountain Ski Resort will be opening tomorrow. Yes, right. Tomorrow, the big day. So be sure and head to Copper Mountain Resort, Colorado's perfect ski mountain. And speaking of mountains, a mountain of a man, Rodney Rogers, showing you what the Nuggets have missed.
Yeah, it's great defense right here. A little bobble, Reggie in the opportune place. Watch him look up the floor to Pack. Pack sees Rodney long. This guy's got a bad toe, Al. He's not supposed to be able to run that quick. He's the first one down there and lays it up for his second basket of the night.
And the new rules, certainly watching teams defensively, benefited Rodney Rogers so much. He takes that big body with a quick step and mobility, and he has taken advantage. Willie Anderson, last year Spurs won 4 of 6 from the Nuggets. Robinson over Rogers, and that's one area in which Rogers has to watch out. He's the offensive threat for the Nuggets now, but Robinson will take it to him to try to get him into foul trouble.
What San Antonio did on that play was run kind of a misdirection. It looks like the play is going to be on the right side of the court, a back pick. Reggie Williams, man, was the one that set the pick. I believe it was Elliott. He's got to make sure he steps over, bumps David Robinson so he doesn't get that good position. And you make a great point. Rodney prone to foul anyway. You know they're going to go right at him with David Robinson.
Robinson misses the 2, and the Nuggets with a 4-0 lead. Bring the ball down. Just a minute 15 gone in the ball game. Reggie Williams working on Sean Elliott. Mutombo wants the ball, and now an illegal defense is called on the Spurs. David Robinson getting caught.
Really funny. J.R. Reed somehow got switched up. It looked like it was a high pick and roll. Maybe he thought Mutombo was open on the roll. Robinson and him and J.R. both doubling Dikembe.
Robert Pack flicks the wrist. Got it. And the Nuggets now working on the shutout. 6-0 in the early going against San Antonio. This is the first road game for the Spurs. They opened the season with a 4-game homestand, lost the opener to Golden State, then came back to win the next 3. And J.R. Reed, the probably most unlikely of the 5 on the floor, gets the Spurs on the board. Spurs beat New Jersey, Utah, and then whipped the Knicks by 19 Saturday. Really got the ball running in that game. Reggie Williams, nothing but net. And the Nuggets, not only the highest scoring team in the league, but the best shooting team in the league, have come out and hit all 4 of their field goal attempts. Inside, Tim Donaghy makes the call.
That's 2 on Rodney. That's kind of a weak call in the NBA. It's a back pick, and if you look at back picks, you're supposed to be given a full step. Tommy Hammond's going to have to come in now for Rodney, and that's not a good sign for the Denver Nuggets. But San Antonio offensively is very active. They do a lot of movement, a lot of back screens, a lot of guys trying to get mismatches on their opponents.
Now Robinson picked up by Hammonds, and he quickly hits. David Robinson, first field goal of the night. Nuggets did a pretty good job on him. He was bothered last year with their defense of LaFonso Ellis and power forwards taking him. This is on Avery Johnson. But Robinson, who last year averaged 30 a game, just 23 per against the Nuggets. 8-4 start for Denver. The Nuggets 2-1. at McNichols Arena. They've won their 2 games on the road in Dallas and Los Angeles. Mutombo with his back to Robinson. Sweeping right-hand hook. And that's the first missed shot for the Nuggets tonight. Avery Johnson pushes it to Anderson. He stops and pops. And it's corralled by Mutombo. Pack on the move. He's looking for Smith. And Smith unable to catch up with the basketball. 3 minutes into this first quarter. Dan Issel and his Nuggets getting a couple of days rest. Dikembe Mutombo certainly enjoying that after playing back-to-back 2 nights, 99 minutes. J.R. Reed goes in. Mutombo gets block number 1. The league leader with 6 a game. Pack fires it down to Hammonds. He makes the step and dunks on Robinson.
Oh, man. Tommy Hammonds is a strong individual. That was a drop step off the fast break pace. Oh, hello, highlight film. Man.
And that causes the Spurs to call a timeout. Tommy Hammonds, who has started the last couple of games in relief of Rogers, takes it to the Admiral. Sensational rookie at McNichols. The Nuggets against the Pistons. And there's a number to call for more information on treat seats. Well, how about this treat?
Well, Dikembe, J.R. Reed's got to use a head fake right there because Dikembe didn't leave the league and shot blocks for nothing. How about Tommy Hammonds right here? David Robinson right now will be shown coast to coast this evening on all the local sports broadcasts.
Mutombo leads the league in block shots. He gets 1, and that's one that Robinson did not get to add to his total, 4th best in the NBA. Tommy Hammonds winning fans here in Denver. Started the last couple of games in reserve and really plugging up the dike for the Nuggets. Elliott makes the move. And there is Mutombo to reel that one in. Dikembe is averaging 14 boards per ball game. Reggie Williams at 3-point land. Nuggets lead at 10-4 in the first 4 minutes of the game. An early Tuesday night start here at McNichols. Williams, the force, and that one goes in. Reggie Williams, who had his problems shooting, kind of adjusting to his tendonitis in the knees during preseason, but he's shooting 50% for the year in the first 5 games. And the Nuggets off to a 12-4 start, and they're made shots, and there's a pass right in the hands of Mutombo. Hitting all these shots of the Nuggets, 6 of 7 from the floor, that they're not allowing the Spurs to get the running game going. And that has really helped San Antonio to 3 straight wins. Illegal defense number 2 on San Antonio. And that will send the Nuggets to the foul line.
Denver taking their time. They didn't have the break. Almost turned the ball over. Tommy gets it out. You know, kind of a patience you really didn't see, especially this time last year with the Nuggets. They take their time. They get the play set up. And when you do that, you cause things like illegal defense.
And this one goes to Brian Stith for the tee, even though Robert Pack is the best foul shooter on the floor at 87%. Stith at 76%. Although he has proven over the years to be an 80-plus shooter. He's actually started slowly and now revving it up. Hammonds makes the move with fadeaway on Reed. 13-4. The Nuggets off to an early 9-point lead. A steal by Pack. He is going.
Pack played like a free safety. Did in the last home game also. Just watches the eyes of the guy bringing it up and goes for the interception.
Remember when Hammond dunked, Hill called the timeout. It was then 8-4. Nuggets since have reeled off 7 straight. Robinson going. Here come the Nuggets busting out. Stiff goes to Pack, who finger rolls. There's Stiff with the board. Still banging, and he comes out of the crowd and fires.
I'll tell you what, that's hustle. Brian Stiff kind of handcuffed Robert Pack on the break. Kind of short-armed it, but Tommy Hammonds kept it alive. Brian Stitt pulls it out of the pack for 2 points.
The Nuggets are running the Spurs off the floor. In 5.5 minutes, the Nuggets have 17 points. Watch out, Mutombo over the back a little aggressively. And he'll be called for a foul, although it garners a standing ovation from the coach, Dan Issel, who likes this aggressiveness by the Nuggets.
Nice attempt to block right there. You see David Robinson gets just a little bit of position. Good call on a foul. Watch his steal. That's just a slow, lazy pass, a dangerous area, and Robert Pack knows what to do with it.
He's been holding off on the dunks, but not when it's that wide open. This one goes against Tommy Hammonds.
We need to see if the two veteran officials, Lee Jones and Dennis Salvador, actually have peas in their whistle, because I think Tim has 3 of them in his.
Tim Donaghy, the young official, and what a start for Robert Pack, making believers out of many people. Robinson, that soft left-hander, and David Robinson is one man who misses Dennis Rodman on the San Antonio team. Rodman freed Robinson to do a lot of different things. He actually became a point center, moving and roaming the floor, not having to concentrate on getting the rebounds. Robert Pack slips out of his hand, but he is fouled. Avery Johnson just does not have the muscle to battle against a Robert Pack, and that's the second foul already on Johnson.
You know, if Avery doesn't get a hand in there and foul Robert Pack, you know what happens? Even though you get a bit of a matchup, Robert Pack a little stronger than Avery Johnson, he's still on a post-up player. So now you put him down there and say go one-on-one. Well, it's still kind of a foreign area for him, and it looked like he was kind of out of control hadn't Avery fouled him.
Chuck Person comes in for the first time tonight. After 2 years in Minnesota, now feels he's with a contender. Avery Johnson leaves. So does Willie Anderson. And number 20, Chris Whitney, the second-year guard out of Clemson, is in. Robert Pack, just about 20 points a game, 11 assists, which result in 22 more points. So Robert Pack is accounting for 42 points a game for the Denver Nuggets. And he has 6 points already tonight to lead the way. Here is Whitney, wide open, swish. So Chris Whitney, who is playing just his second game of the year, gets an early go. Pack runs away from Whitney. It is loose. And now here is J.R. Reed being chased by Reggie Williams. And J.R. with a quick bucket there, and he has 4 points.
Bob Hill now wants San Antonio to pick Robert Pack up full court, deny him the ball, make someone else bring it up.
Remember, the Nuggets without Raouf tonight, out with a hip injury, and it's a day-to-day. They hope he's back Thursday. Reggie Williams from downtown, and he is off to a 7-point start in this first quarter. Has hit all 3 of his outside shots. Nuggets by a dozen. Perimeter for the San Antonio Spurs. Now Robinson off the glass. Shows you that sure touch.
Yeah, that was a nice touch, because he's catching the ball on the move, reversing his back. But you know what? You'd rather David Robinson beat you from 15-18 as opposed to in the paint.
22-12. Nuggets by 10. Pack takes it in on his man. He's got it, and he is fouled. Robert Pack pulls his way in and sets up a possible 3-point play. But back the other way, last time Nuggets had the ball, Reggie Williams hits his 6th from downtown this year, and he is making his way up the list. Nuggets all-time Michael Adams in a runaway, but Reggie Williams now just 1 3-pointer behind his assistant coach, Mike Evans.
Michael Adams got 630 of those, about 580 was in that one season.
It was that one game. Inside track, Hammonds may have been fouled there. And that's what Dan Issel is complaining about. Meanwhile, Nuggets get the ball. Pack with 7, Williams with 7 in this first quarter. Pack, the floater, swish. Robert Pack, unbelievable, 9 points, and has grown in just 5-6 games into a all-star contender if he keeps up this pace. 27-12, the Nuggets in an early romp against the Spurs. 4 minutes left in the first quarter. Knocked away, and Mutombo grabs it. Looks for the little man, Robert Pack. Pack now looks to set up. Whitney goes down. The foul will be called on Whitney. I think, Scott, that Robert Pack just likes this mismatch of the smaller guards against him. Whitney at 170 pounds. Robert Pack is solidly built at anywhere between 190, 195.
Kind of a cruiserweight fighting a bantam.
Yeah, I would say that.
You know, Robert Pack has got a lot of confidence. You don't want to see him try to take so much advantage of these smaller guys that he starts forcing the issue, something he really hasn't done this year. But you got to like it when you've got somebody like Robert Pack sitting the other team's point guards down on the bench.
He averaged 15 points last year a game. Dale Ellis replaces Reggie Williams. And Ellis getting his first shot now at his former mates. Team that decided not to re-sign him. A rare miss from the foul line by Pack. But he is already in double figures with 12. He has as many points as the Spurs do. 28-12 Nuggets. Robinson has trouble, and it is deflected by Pack off the foot of a very frustrated David Robinson.
Nice double team right there. What you got to make sure you don't do is let him split, but Robert Pack with quick hands gets the ball to deflect off David's foot.
Pack will probably see a little more action tonight. He's been averaging 35 minutes a game, but without Raouf there. Dale Ellis looking for Mutombo, overplayed by Robinson, and there is the foul. The first one on David Robinson. Some of the Nugget fans and those on the Nuggets bench may have counted a couple earlier that weren't called.
You know, David's so quick defensively. What he does is he shows you one side where you're open to pass the ball as far as going into a post player, and he shows you that sign on purpose and then comes around and takes it. And had he had an arm wrapped around Dikembe right there, actually had a steal.
One more shot from Mutombo from the line. Jalen Rose, a lot of points in a hurry, replaces Brian Stith. Jalen Rose, who threw up a couple of bricks in that first half, may have affected the coach's decision-making on playing time, but he brought him in the fourth quarter, and he made up for some lost time. Dikembe, first 2 points of the ball game. 8 straight now for the Nuggets, who lead at 30-12. Person, no. Robinson back to Person for 3. Swish. That's why he's there. Chuck Person takes the role of Dale Ellis. Also, the Spurs gain about 4 or 5 years on that exchange. Person at 30 years of age.
He's actually trying to play deep.
And now it's Person against Dale Ellis on the matchup. And a whistle.
I'm telling you, we got to get. If there's a manufacturer of whistles in our vicinity, please bring some by.
There is a timeout here in Denver, and it has been an avalanche for the Nuggets in the first quarter.
That's what we had for our dog back home. Tickle meter.
Your dog have 795
Well,
ticks?
not quite.
David Robinson wondering what has hit him tonight. San Antonio Spurs, who got out on a break against the Knicks Saturday. They outscored the Knicks 23-0 on fast break points. But with the Nuggets hitting 11 of their 15 shots, not much opportunity for the Spurs to get out on the fast break. And actually, the Nuggets before this game had kept in mind that transitionally, defensively, they have to get back against the Spurs. So any chance the Spurs have had to run, Nuggets are back there to meet them.
Yeah, the Spurs are the kind of team, though, that you can get up 15 or 17, and they'll keep themselves in the ball game, so you don't ever want to relax and let them get that chance.
That foul on the reach-in is Robert Pack. Nuggets have really found the antidote to relaxing and falling out of games, and it's basically been called playing time. They are so deep that now when anybody gets on the floor, knows that to earn playing time while he's on the floor in the future has to play hard.
That's exactly right. And you know, you're talking about garbage time and all that stuff, and there's not a guy on that team right now, the Nuggets team, that likes garbage time, so they want to play when they get a chance. You said Jalen Rose not playing much the first half the other night. Boom, in here early.
He's got his opportunity now. Nuggets with 3 guards dressed this evening. Robert Pack weaving his way through. 2:15 left in the first quarter. Al Albert along with Scott Hastings courtside at McNichols Arena. Dale Ellis works it in to Hammonds. And there's Robinson coming off the ball for the block. Now San Antonio gets it up in a hurry, as does Sean Elliott, who is looking for his first basket tonight. He's averaging 19 a game. Shut out so far in the first quarter, and he has gone the distance. Whitney has to back off on Pack. Dumped in low to Ellis. Twisting move. And as the body twisted, so did the ball. Around the rim and out. Whitney for 3. swept away by Hammonds. A minute and a half left in a sensational first quarter for the Nuggets. Robert Pack for three. Downtown Robert Pack for the 6th time this year in only 9 attempts. He had 6 3-pointers all last season.
And the close line doesn't affect three-point shooting.
Nuggets have their biggest lead, 18 points. And Lee Jones makes this call against the Nuggets. Chuck Person completely surrounded. Dan Issel telling Dale Ellis, hey, patience, be calm, and let me carry the ball.
Dan Issel talking to Lee Jones, he said, if you're going to call it that close on the defensive player pushing the back, you've got to watch the 3 seconds because there's no protection for the defensive player. Guy stays in the lane. You're not going to call the 3 seconds, then you're basically dead. An NBA player that gets the ball in the paint is going to score on you every time.
Lee Jones called the foul on Dale Ellis and now conversing with the Nuggets' elder statesman. Meanwhile, a change being made. Speaking of elder statesmen, none elder. In the NBA, Moses Malone gives the Admiral a breather. Robinson leads with 6 points. Person sinks the 2 foul shots. 35-19 Nuggets by 16 inside the final minute of the first quarter. Robert Pack has gone all the way for the Nuggets, as has Mutombo. Pack gets it back. And the Nuggets turn this into a basket. Mutombo takes it right in on Moses Malone. This is his 21st year of pro ball. He had 2 in the ABA and his 19th in the NBA. Foul before the shot. Reaching in was Jalen Rose, and he commits his first personal foul. And Person back of the line. Willie Anderson returns, and Sean Elliott shaking his head as he goes to the bench scoreless. Conoco scoreboard. New Jersey leads Seattle. Miami doing in Dallas, and Atlanta has won just 1 of their first 6. Cleveland by 5 over Charlotte. Detroit looking to go 4-2 heading into McNichols Arena by 3 against Philadelphia, and Orlando trying to cool off the hot Washington Bullets. He was a Minnesota Timberwolf for the last 2 years and will not admit to that fact. And now Chuck Person trying to find a way back after a couple of years in which he lost his shooting touch and, quite frankly, his desire to play basketball. Jalen Rose takes it in on Person. Pack fakes the 3 from 2. And now the Spurs trying to make a move. Pack gets back to deflect it away from Terry Cummings, who is all alone.
Nuggets up 14 with 9 seconds to go. Watch an out-of-bounds play that somehow gets Chuck Person open for a quick 3.
There's Person releasing. And there he is. It wasn't quick, but it is a 3. 5 seconds, enough time for Robert Pack racing on Anderson and burying the ball. Robert Pack beats the clock with just 0.8 of a second to go. More than enough time for Robert Pack, who has 17 points in the first. We're soon. Moses Malone. He will turn 40 in March. And this is how the first quarter ended. All Nuggets. Can Robert Pack beat the clock? Yes, with some time to spare.
And he only did it in 3 steps. I can do that dunk in 3 steps.
3 steps and 3 seconds. So Robert Pack, last year that was a heck of a game for Robert. He's done that in the first quarter. 17 points for Pack to lead all scorers. Chuck Person has 7 to lead the Spurs. Robinson with but 6 in the first quarter. Stymied by the Nuggets defense. The veteran Terry Cummings in his 13th season out of DePaul. And he's played some good basketball for the Spurs in the early going. A couple of games in which he's had 17 points off the bench. Nuggets led by as many as 18. And a quick whistle there against Willie Anderson. Anderson has his first personal foul. You know, last year in 6 games between these two teams, the Nuggets and the Spurs averaged about 89 points, a mere 89 points against one another. This year, you kind of have a feeling this matchup will take you back to the old ABA shootouts. Jalen Rose, a shot reminiscent of Utah that didn't endear himself to the coach. Malone camped inside, and now a 3-second call. Lee Evans looks at Dan Issel, who made the initial call.
Terry said, nice call, Dan. You know, the Nuggets have gone really small right now with Slater and Tommy Hammonds, the 2 biggest guys on the court.
Reggie Slater off a great performance for the rookie against Utah, outdueling Karl Malone in the 4th quarter. 10 points in the 4th period for Slater. And he gets another quick shot. So Mutombo gets a rest. Hammonds is being played by Malone. And that's the matchup now in the middle. Nuggets off to the quick start. Doing it tonight without Brian Williams and LaFonso Ellis. And I think many folks around Denver just wondering how good will this team be when they have everybody playing.
That's where Jalen's got to keep getting the ball. His shot will get better the older he gets, but he is so nifty around the basket.
Slater now against the veteran Cummings. It leaves Willie Anderson. He was on the line. They're calling out a 3. Immaterial. Robert Pack racing coast to coast for the reverse. And back to the foul line for Robert Pack, just outrunning the San Antonio Spurs.
You know, for those of us that are Nuggets fans last year, I remember Robert kind of trying to do more than he could do. It's amazing to see the confidence he is playing with now. That time just splits the defense, almost gets the kind roll, but Robert Pack, you know, hopefully this isn't a dream and the bubble doesn't burst and all of that, because he really is playing fantastic.
Mutombo short rest, and he is back in there. So is David Robinson. Tommy Hammonds gets a hand. The fans appreciate the incredible work ethic for Hammonds. And you know, when you figure when Brian Williams and LaFonso Ellis come back, Tommy Hammonds starts sliding down to number, 11 or 12 on this club. 19 points for Robert Pack. Avery Johnson is back in for the Nuggets. Willie Anderson, the hard drive. He goes down. In the way was Jalen Rose, who's hit with his 2nd personal foul.
There's 2 ways a defensive player that's going to take the ball to the hole, and Willie Anderson's as good as anybody in the league, getting in that crease and getting to the hole. You've either got to play him to your weak hand, or your defense has got to be set up to where, okay, I'm going to drive him to the middle, you be there. Most defenses are set up just opposite out. They're set up, put the guy on the baseline, and that's where your help's going to come from.
Robert Pack gets a rest, well-deserved. 19 points for Pack. He's 6 of 8 from the field, 6 of 7 from the foul line. The only Nugget, the only player in this game in double figures. First 2 points for Willie Anderson, the 7-year veteran out of Georgia. Now the ball in the hands of Jalen Rose. He's teamed in the backcourt with Reggie Williams or Dale Ellis. I believe it's Ellis gets that nod, and he tries to work off the screen. Willie Anderson trying to work through the screen, and it's foul number 2 on Anderson. The Nuggets have brought the Spurs essentially to a standstill tonight, and that's not their offensive plan.
You know what also San Antonio's doing is they're picking up the guards full court. When the Nuggets are getting the ball over half court, they're having to get a shot up with under 14 seconds.
Slater wants the ball, using the big body against Person. He gets in. Oh, Mutombo over Robinson, but it won't count. They'll call that offensive interference, or is it a foul? No, it's a foul on Mutombo, pushing David Robinson.
This is Reggie's shot. Nice little jump hook right there. Didn't have it. Calling to Kimbe right there. It's kind of an aggressive play that if a guy finishes the play and dunks, you usually don't see the call, but he is over David's back right there. The left arm goes over his shoulder. Dave hollers and flails his arm, and Willie Anderson comes down here and dunks.
You know, even though that was a foul called on Mutombo, Robinson takes that slam in his face. He took the slam in his face earlier by Tommy Hammonds. That really can diffuse a guy. 41-27, Nuggets with the lead. 3 minutes into the second quarter. Rose, quick move on the baseline. And a quick shot. For a point guard, Jalen Rose seems to be looking shot first, then pass. Slater with a finger roll, but gets caught on the backboard. And now the Spurs are able to open up the running game. David Robinson gift wraps to Sean Elliott, and there is the tip by Robinson. Fans want the foul on Robinson, and Dan Issel, sensing the San Antonio Spur move, has called a timeout. His team led by 18 moments ago, and it's 6 straight points by the David Robinson-led San Antonio Spurs to help them get back in the business. Who is on fire tonight. He has hit all 4 of his shots, 1 from downtown, and he has a quick 9 points. And that snaps the streak of 6 straight for the Spurs as they make some menacing approaches towards the Nuggets. Robinson can't get it back, and Dale Ellis loses it out about, no, they say it was last touched by a Spur. Rodney Rogers is back in for the Nuggets. So Denver lines up now with Rose and Ellis, with Mutombo, Williams, and Rogers. Ellis steps in for the shot. He really wanted that first one. Rodney Rogers, that's his 3rd shot, and he's hit them all. Fingertip approach for Rodney Rogers. It is opening 2 shots to open the scoring in the game, and then picked up 2 quick personal fouls. Robinson back taps it. Willie Anderson on the run. Robinson, more than a back tap there. A lunging left-hander for the Admiral, and he has 10.
Well, now he's on the highlight film twice, giving and receiving.
He has a way of getting there. Rodney Rogers working inside, gets the double team, finds Mutombo. Raced down by Dikembe. Rogers a threat from downtown. Person giving it to him. The second-year man now instructing the Nuggets where to move. Jalen Rose one-on-one on the smaller Avery Johnson. And it's knocked away. Jalen Rose at 6'8", has about 9 inches on Avery Johnson.
Sometimes you're good, sometimes you're just lucky. And Rodney Rogers goes after this ball. Watch him down your lower left-hand corner. Just keeps it away from David Robinson. And good.
3 of 3. Jalen Rose forces it. And he is called for the foul. What is happening to Jalen Rose in the last couple of games, Scott? That's his 3rd foul already tonight.
You know, it really looks to me like he's pressing the issue, trying to force the action. The time before, he's trying to post up on Avery Johnson, the smaller player, which is okay and smart. But if you get pushed all the way outside to the 3-point line, then you got to get your offense back going. And right now, Jalen's not doing that. I think he's forcing the issue.
And he is back on the bench. Robert Pack returns to the floor for the Nuggets. 14-point ball for Denver. Johnson goes down. The Nuggets bust out. Robert Pack behind the back. And Willie Anderson got caught at the wrong place at the wrong time with 7'2", 250-pound Dikembe Mutombo rumbling down the lane.
Sean Elliott really getting in Lee Jones's face about something. David Robinson comes over and grabs him. Watch the pick right here. There's no foul right there. Avery just slipped. He's trying to get a call. Nice, nifty pass to Mutombo, who's trailing the play. 7-foot running. Willie Anderson tries to take the charge. Would have gotten the charge. Lee Jones wanted to give it to him. But if you saw Anderson's hands leaning out in front of him, and that made the contact first.
One more shot for Mutombo. Change is made. Anderson goes out with his 3rd personal foul. Spurs also are short one of their guards. Vinny Del Negro is on the injured list. Stress reaction of the leg, and expected to be out a couple of more weeks.
And he hurt the Nuggets, as I remember, 2 or 3 times last year. They post him up against the smaller guards. San
Antonio home tomorrow against the Chicago Bulls. Will this be the first field goal of the night? No, for Sean Elliott, who's now 0 for 4. 6.5 left in the first half. Williams fires it inside, but Robinson getting back.
You know, you might want to watch Rodney Rogers. He's trying to fight over a pick down here defensively, just now slipped, and he came up limping a little bit on that foot.
Not limping enough to go inside. Hits with the left hand and is fouled. He is a monster inside. Rodney Rogers at 6'7", 255 pounds.
Nice execution on the out-of-bounds underneath play. A little back screen. J.R. Reed a little slow to get to the ball. David Robinson is kind of playing a center fielder right there. Doesn't seem either.
And consider the fact Rodney Rogers came out after his junior year, so this should be his rookie season. One education his first year, up and down year. Started down and then ended up, and he's picked up from there. Efficient 9 points for Rogers. Avery Johnson able to slide in for his first field goal. Avery averaging 15 points a game. First game of the season against the team that did not re-sign him, Golden State. Johnson hit for career-high 27. First miss of the night for Reggie Williams. Now Johnson trying to get it on the run with the left hand, and he is off the mark. Mutombo in a crowd, and Robert Pack pushes the pace. Pack bumps with Johnson, and that's an easy whistle. And guess what? That's number 3 on Avery Johnson. So Johnson and Willie Anderson, the starting backcourt of the Spurs, each with 3 personal fouls.
You know, Al, that's a no call last year. This year, you're seeing a lot of guys going to the bench with early foul trouble. That just a little bump on the break. And, you know, you talk about the different players these rules are going to help. The hand check, the close-in three-point line. And I guarantee you, Robert Pack, it has helped his game. People not being able to manhandle him and hand check him.
Robert Pack ahead of Stockton, ahead of Strickland. Leads the NBA in assists. Last year he had 5 per ball game, and quite frankly he's probably playing twice as much time now. 21 points for Pack. He comes off a 26-point performance against Utah, which is 1 shy of his career high, and he looks like he will bust that tonight. Robinson, the wheel, the fadeaway, the swish.
You're going to ask Rodney Rogers to guard David Robinson, who's much taller than him. You're going to have to send down help. That time he was one-on-one, and that's a mismatch. Rodney.
And it's number 3 on Rodney Rogers, away from the ball on the offensive end of the court. And Rodney Rogers smarting after that call, and he'll have to come out. Rodney Rogers from the field has been perfect tonight. He's hit all 5 of his shots. 4 from the floor, 1 from the foul line, 9 points. Just cannot get going. But if the Nuggets are able to maintain this lead, that actually may work out for Rogers, who did not play the last couple of games. Still a little sore with the toe injury, and getting some forced time on the bench. Turning it over to Chuck Person.
He's claiming the ball was knocked out of his hands right there on a kind of a head fake. Got Reggie up. Reggie got a little deflection. Lee Jones on the play. Veteran official calls a double dribble.
Chris Whitney picking up Robert Pack full court. Pack and Stiff now with Mutombo, Hammonds, and Reggie Williams. Stiff against Persian. This is an illegal defense. It's on Sean Elliott. They really catch Sean Elliott just taking a step back.
That's a crazy rule. It's a poor rule, an unthought out rule. I understand they wanted more scoring in the NBA. We talked to Magic in LA last week and said all they needed to do was move the three-point line, and that's going to increase scoring.
Stiff hits the tee. Bob Hill, who was an assistant under Larry Brown at Kansas, and was an assistant with the Knicks under Hubie Brown. And Hubie vacated the Knicks scene and took over there. Just finished out the season. And spent 3 years as head coach in Indiana. Ball movement by the Spurs. Quick baseline move. David Robinson, the push-off by Tommy Hammonds. And that is the second personal foul. Take us into the head of Dan Issel. And why do the Nuggets prefer guarding Robinson with the power forward instead of Mutombo?
Well, they liked it better last year, obviously, with LaFonso, because he's a little bit taller. But David Robinson does a lot of his work outside.
And they're trying to do some work inside. We'll get back to that thought. Robert Pack goes straight up for the jumper. Pack has been hitting that outside shot. 17-point bulge for the Nuggets. 4 minutes left in the second quarter. Robinson going to work. Now guarded by Pack, which leaves Whitney open. So Pack helping out and gets burned by Whitney. 52-37 Denver. Nuggets trying to make it 5 of their first 6 with 3 more home games on this stand. Detroit Thursday, Houston Saturday, and then the Bulls next Wednesday. Hard move by Stiff. San Antonio on the run. It is Whitney who accelerates and banks. Ripped down by Mutombo. And the Nuggets race back the other way. Reggie Williams, he stops. He pops. He hits. Double figures for Reggie Williams. He's taken 6 shots. He's hit 5 of them.
And the Nuggets have got to keep running. When they run, that's where they're getting all their success against David Robinson and the Spurs.
Leading the Spurs in the transition game. Person set up the 3, and he is way off the mark all night long. Robert Pack weaves his way through. He has Stiff. Stiff gets hung up. And Reggie Williams, the Nuggets captain, telling Pack to take your time. Williams with a curl, fade away. Nuggets averaging 118 points a game, tops in the NBA. That's 1 point more than the Golden State Warriors.
Oh, man. That's an unintentional screen, I believe. But when you're moving like that, you're guarding the ball, that is going to be an offensive foul every time. Watch David Robinson hit Stiff, gets bumped a little bit, catches it with the shoulder right across the jaw.
That is a wipeout. And we now have a timeout with 2:29 left in the first half. It's all Denver. Puts out their power poll. They rate the NBA teams from 1 to 27. Last week, the Nuggets rated at number 5. Zooming up to the upper echelon of the NBA, according to the Sporting News. Nuggets lead it by 17 with 2:20 to go in the first half. Robert Pack with 21 points in this first half of play. And the push-off from behind this game now being slowed down by whistles. Chuck Person has another. That is his second personal foul.
If you go back the last 3 possessions of the Denver Nuggets, everybody that, or whoever that Chuck Person is guarding, the last 3 plays, they have gone right at him. 2 post-up plays for Brian Stiff and a curl for Reggie Williams coming to the wing. So they're going to take advantage of Chuck, who's quite known as a defensive player.
Rare foul shot missed by the Nuggets. They have made 16 of 19, and that's another area why the Nuggets are scoring more points. Last couple of games, they've shot over 80% from the foul line, and they've taken quite a few shots. Sean Elliott finally finds the basket. First field goal for Elliott. After missing 4 shots, he's the second leading scorer behind Robinson on the Spurs at 19 points a game. Inside 2 minutes left in the first half. Pack looking for Stiff. They like that matchup one-on-one. Stiff goes from afar, and Robinson rips that down. Spurs trying to make a little bit of move in the last couple of minutes to get back into this game going into halftime. This is called against the Nuggets, against Mutombo, and that's Dikembe's 3rd personal foul.
Well, according to the officials there, Dikembe Mutombo pushing Chris Whitney at 5'11" out of the way so he could get the rebound. Dan Issel not very happy talking to the official as we speak. Dikembe just kind of smiling.
Well, what Dan Issel doesn't want to see is Mutombo get that 3rd foul in the final minute or so. And there's a whistle and a traveling violation on the rookie out of Nigeria, Julius Wusu, who gets some time. He played for Liberty College in Virginia. N-W-O-S-U.
Is the N silent?
I think so.
Oh.
Start picking up on the pronunciation. Just can't put one by you.
Whoa.
Woo, no, it's woo. Woo-soo.
Woo, whoa, woo, woo. Chuck Person with the ball about going out of bounds right there calls the timeout in the air.
In the air. And that's why they call him the rifleman. Dan Issel having some words with Lee Jones. And we have a minute 8 to go in the first half. Nuggets holding on to a 16-point lead.
Of the acquisition of Grant Hill, but it kind of shows you the weakness, I think, of the Eastern Conference right now. Detroit leading the Central Division, I believe, at 3-2.
Detroit right up there with Indiana. Chicago at 3-3. Just kind of wait. Indiana actually out to a slow start, but I see them actually pulling away.
How about
shortly?
The Atlanta Hawks, though, starting off 1-5. You know, here's a team last year that had to fight for the best record in the league at one time.
And I thought made a very good trade in Kevin Willis for Steve Smith and Grant Long.
Now, Steve Smith's a good player, going to be a good player for a long time.
But right now, they're just there's not much up front.
They're back.
1-5. Says it all. 60 seconds to go in the first half. Person scurrying around looking for some more shots. David Robinson with a sweeping left-handed hook. 14 points for Robinson.
You know, and I still don't understand that. I don't understand why you want to double or why you want to guard Robinson with a smaller guy. But if it gets in the post, you've got to get down there and double it.
Another foul on a Spur guard trying to contain Robert Pack. Chris Whitney becomes the third guard to pick up number 3, and Bob Hill is not excited about the new rules.
He's trying to make a point to his point guards. From now on, when you dribble, clear off with your arm is what he's sitting there yelling, trying to tell the officials. I think that's what Robert just did. Oh, that's nasty.
Robert Pack in this first half is already attempting his 11th foul shot. He's shooting 87% from the line coming in. So with his penetration, he has so many options, one of which is getting fouled, going to the line, and he's going to make most of it. The cut inside by Whitney with the fake and gift wraps to Robinson. So Robinson, who had just 6 points in the first quarter, has added 10 more here in the second, and he is now starting to roll. 16 points for Robinson. And the Nuggets coming down to the final 30 seconds of the half. Hammonds wants it against the rookie. And the foul on 0-0, Julius Wusu, the 6'10" rookie out of Liberty.
His last play down here, it's a pick and roll real high. No one steps out. Cliff Livingston follows the point guard. David Robinson there on the roll gets the dunk. The way you defense that, you've got to stop the penetration from the point of the pick and roll. So now that if Robinson's going to roll from, say, 24 feet, you've got more time for your defense to adjust. When you let a point guard get in the paint, you're dead.
And Robert Pack has been getting in the paint. 3 straight wins for both of these teams. The Nuggets have won 3 in a row, on the road in Dallas, on the road in Los Angeles, and then home against Utah. And San Antonio has beaten the Knicks, Utah, and New Jersey all at home. Tommy Hammonds, who had 11 points in the win against Utah and 9 against the Lakers in starting roles, comes off the bench here tonight with Rodney Rogers returning to action. Last shot for the Spurs. Will they be behind by 15 or 13 at halftime? Elliott, baseline jump. Corralled by Pack with 2 seconds, more than enough time for 3. Well, he ended the first quarter by beating the clock, and he tried to do it, dialing up long distance here in the second. The crowd responds to the Nuggets, flexing their muscle one more time, having won 4 of their first 5 games and leading by a Hollywood start for Pack this year. He's averaging 20 points per ball game, 11 assists, number 1 in the NBA in that category. And there were still some doubters when he was inserted in the starting lineup. And he felt it was still a temporary situation, but Robert Pack is now solidifying his hold as the Nuggets starting point guard. San Antonio starts with the ball. They have a record of 3-1. They have won 3 in a row. All their games have come at home. So this is their first road trip. And they play it right into their hot man, David Robinson. And it's a 13-point game. The Nuggets' biggest lead has been 18. They had that on several occasions. Here's a whistle, and the foul pushing off is J.R. Reed. The Nuggets start the second half with Robert Pack and Brian Stith in the backcourt, Dikembe Mutombo in the middle, with Reggie Williams and Rodney Rogers up front. Between Reggie Williams and Rodney Rogers, they are 9 of 11 from the field for 20 points. Quiet night for Brian Stith so far. Stith's minutes have been down this year, but his point total is now 34 of 47 and over the 70th percentile as Mutombo comes off the floor shaking his head. Dikembe 3 points in the first half, all from the foul line. He had 8 rebounds and 1 block shot.
You know, here's where the 1 or 2 times that you may need another true backup center, especially when you're playing against a guy like Robinson.
Rogers first miss. Robinson yanks it down. San Antonio senses they can make a run. J.R. Reed with the turn right there. And this one is on Tommy Hammond. And, you know, sometimes during games you just feel, you sense the turn of the tide. And I think Dan Issel senses that right now.
Well, I think you're right. And I think they're going to go right at Denver. You lose your shot blocking ability. They only had, what, 2 anyway the first half. So now that really drops.
And this foul goes against San Antonio. Avery Johnson gets his 4th. So that is a momentum breaker for Bob Hill and his Spurs, and he knows it. He had a chance to get it down to 11. Instead, now they still trail by 13, maybe 15 here, and his point guard is 4 fouls. 8 seconds to shoot. Hammond's on Reed. The fadeaway. Swish. Tommy Hammond's a clutch basket there, and the Nuggets now with the breathing room of a 15-point lead. Robinson, he's fouled by Pack outside. Robert Pack's 2nd personal foul, and that is a shooting foul.
Yeah, and that's a silly foul, and Robert Pack knows. He's telling Rodney there was a high pick and roll for David on the break. But I mean, if you want David Robinson to beat you, I would think you would want him beating you on a 19-foot jump shot right off a transition. You know, he's not going to make that and kill you very often.
David Robinson, runner-up to Hakeem Olajuwon for MVP last year. Robinson had an incredible season, led the league in scoring, about 30 points a game. Many feel that it was actually the team around Olajuwon and the team around Robinson that may have made the difference with the Rockets coming on so strongly and going on to win the championship. Well, Spurs pointing their way, the Nuggets theirs, and Dan Issel tells you who got the call.
Rodney's saying that Sean Elliott, after deflected off of Brian Stith, got a hand on it and then blocked him off from getting the ball. The official sees it the other way.
Nuggets home Thursday night against Detroit Pistons. The only chance to see the sensational rookie Grant Hill. And then Saturday night, the champions and Hakeem Olajuwon are in. Robinson fading away. He is taking over. 21 points for Robinson. He's the only Spur in double figures. This is as close as San Antonio has been in a while. Nuggets have not been able to get out and run. Half-court offense. Rodney Rogers for 3. Corralled by Stith, who goes right up. Stith still bangs the board. It could be fouled from behind, but instead they call it off of San Antonio. Dan Issel saying on the back he thought he was fouled.
Well, Bryant's getting some good positioning, but he's still trying to fight to get in front of the defender. Once in a while, you got to let the defender front you and then just go for the lob.
3 minutes into the second half. Nuggets looking to become 5-1. Houston in first place at 6-0 in the Midwest. There's the fight, a real battle inside, and J.R. Reed nailed with his 3rd personal foul. So the fouls are really mounting in this one.
Well, J.R. Reed's trying to get some position. He's moving around flopping and actually kind of goes against him.
A couple of flops actually there.
I understand they call him Bart Simpson now with that haircut.
Well, he stands all alone without Rodman there. No foul, and on the fast break, Willie Anderson slides through with a beauty, and this is a 10-point game. And the Spurs with Mutombo on the bench, taking advantage, getting that running game going. Hammonds steals it over Robinson. Down by Rogers. The lefty off the glass. Rodney Rogers with 13 points. Spurs throw it away, but down hard comes Hammonds. He's holding his elbow. He got caught up in the air going for that errant pass.
Yeah, Tommy went up the ball. It's kind of like the no pass interference rule in football. If you don't have a chance to catch it, sails over David Robinson's head. He gets kind of upper body contact with Robinson. His feet just really go out from underneath him. Tommy's a pretty tough guy, but he took a serious spill right there.
Well, he played the whole preseason with a foot injury and had to play minutes because of the other injuries. And there he goes down. May have slipped.
You know, yeah, it looked like when he came down, he might have his feet slip out and run. It looked like he hit that elbow, and he is kind of holding that elbow kind of gingerly. Got the, what is it, the bursta sack inside your elbow, and what it'll do is you'll hit it, and before long, if he hit that hard enough, that thing will blow up about the size of his biceps.
And that's really blown up.
Which is massive.
Well, he gives a little handshake to David Robinson. And Tommy Hammonds stays in there. Nuggets have enough problems up front. Nuggets are hoping that Brian Williams may be able to come back as soon as Thursday, maybe Saturday or Wednesday against the Bulls. So they're kind of hovering in on a date somewhere within the week. The step by Pack, the block by Robinson. A lot of time left in this one. San Antonio trying to make a run from behind. Rogers sneaks in. Robert Pack against Robinson. Williams from downtown. Williams gets the inside track, but Robinson the rebound. Another steal by Rogers. 4-on-1. Robinson is back. And he's able to thwart the attack. And now the Spurs with Avery Johnson. The trailer, Elliott. And it was on Elliott. Lee Jones is going to call the foul on the Nuggets, but the young official, Tim Donaghy, makes the call now. Jones will confer. Question was Reggie Williams moving? One official says yes, the other no.
Well, Dan's trying to get his 2 cents. As you make the call, Reggie Williams, to me, looks like he's pretty set right there. That looks like a charge to me.
And Dan Issel now very close to getting a technical. Bennett Salvatore telling him to get back to the bench. Dan Issel out by midcourt. He kind of anticipates this call going now against him.
Well, Lee Jones, the veteran official, is coming over there and taking advantage of the situation. Tim Donaghy had called the charge from the baseline. I think Lee's going to come in there and call it a double foul.
Well, let me tell you, these officials with this Salvatore and Lee Jones a little more tolerant than last time we were here when the quick tees were called.
Little NBA trivia: the only NBA referee to eject Jerry West from a game, Lee Jones. Bad boy, bad Lee.
How tolerant can you be?
Come on. They're calling a double foul.
They're going to call a jump ball. Hammonds against Robinson, which essentially gives it back to San Antonio. Robinson, no-look dunk, and you get the feeling that the San Antonio Spurs are back in this ball game. Still trail by 10, but the Nuggets right now starting to stall. They once led by 18, and Dan Issel wants to talk it over. Dikembe Mutombo on the bench with 4 personal fouls, and Horace right now saying, as you can see, that's not right. He's talking about that last play and also a previous foul to Elliott for 3, and he rattles the rim. And there is the reaction of Dan Issel, who gets the tee. He perhaps is trying to spark his Nugget club. And it's Salvatore nails the horse. after that no call on the Robinson play, in which Issel thought Robinson fouled one of his men.
Well, I tell you what, I think it's a bad move on Bennett Salvatore. Dan Issel deserves a technical and may get kicked out of here right now. But Bennett Salvatore actually stopped, did not call a T till after the guy hit the three-pointer. Dan was trying to get that before then.
So it turns into a 4-point play for Sean Elliott, who hasn't been able to find the basket all night and hits this critical three-pointer.
Well, the Nuggets are playing with four small forwards, really. A couple head fakes. Can't really tell if it's all ball, if there's any arm involved at all. There's a slap there, no call. That's all ball. Actually, a pretty clean block for David Robinson.
Issel would contend he was on the arm. 6 straight points now for the Spurs. And the hard drive by Stiff won't go. He banged his way in. It counts, and the foul. And that one is on David Robinson. So Brian Stiff would not be denied.
I tell you what, when you need a tough basket, the one guy on this team I consider a true warrior, and that's Brian Stiff. Doesn't give up. He's 6'5", jumps in, gets the call right there on Robinson. He almost gets the bucket right there. What some hang time. That is some serious hang time. Could have been a foul on Elliott.
Yeah.
Robinson was just kind of leaning back, getting out of the way.
Well, maybe Dan Issel did get his point across. And the Nuggets now by 9. Brian Stiff with 8 points. J.R. Reed stuck in the backcourt with the ball. Robinson comes out to help. Wide open, Willie Anderson. Robinson, left-hander, nothing but net. 12 field goals for Robinson in 16 attempts, and he has 25.
You know, watch Robinson, great touch, obviously, but watch his speed. Every time he turns that little turnaround jump shot, he never dribbles, and he's always moving that pivot foot.
Stiff wants it again. On his back is Willie Anderson. Hammonds, Rogers, and Reggie Williams. Hammonds over Person.
Boy, they're just really going to go after Chuck Person. That right there shows no respect for Chuck Person as a defensive player.
Willie Anderson flies inside. Only his 3rd field goal. 69-62. The Nuggets holding on to the lead over the Spurs. Both teams trying to make it 4 wins in a row. Riding those win streaks into this one. Hammonds again. One-on-one on Person. Fade away. Issel wanted another foul. Elliott fakes the 3 and misses the finger roll. Nuggets the other way, and Willie
Lineup. And I really think unless they get Brian Williams back, or when they do, they're going to hurt when they have to go small.
The double team on Robinson. And here comes Pack. 2 Spurs are back. Robert Pack blows by, but too hard off the glass. And now San Antonio running the other way. Robinson calling for it. Terry Cummings. So the veteran hits the open baseline jumper. And it's a 6-point game.
Oh, that's an unselfish play by David Robinson. Could have made a one-on-one move, pass it to his teammate.
Spurs have outscored the Nuggets 21-12 in this 3rd quarter. Stiff, many moves with the feet. He goes glass, and he'll go in the 3rd. A quarter in which the Spurs are mounting a comeback. After trailing by as many as 18 points. Person for 3. And now the Spurs, so that long distance 3 negates the power inside 3 by Stiff. Rogers one-on-one, isolated on Robinson. And Robinson gets the block. Person spots up from 3, doesn't take it. Cummings with the back-in move. And Terry Cummings in his have been since they trailed 4-0 in the game. Legal defense on San.
I think an undersized, undermanned, different Nugget team.
Back from behind, knocked away. Actually, Lucas taking over for Tarkanian. The year before was Larry Brown. That's the 4th coach in 3 years. Whitney for 2. Hits off the bench. Unknown Chris Whitney, the 2nd-year man from Clemson, has 8 points tonight. Needless to say, his high of the season. Matter of fact, it's the only points he's scored all year. Another illegal defense against the Spurs. This is on David Robinson. So Spurs last couple of times giving the Nuggets opportunities of 3-point plays.
You know, as well as Robert Pack played in that first half, held scoreless here. Just under 3 minutes to go in this third quarter. And Pack, you know, as you saw the time down before, starting to force things a little bit and has turned the ball over a couple times in the third quarter.
Timeout in Denver. 2:53 to go in the third. The Nuggets now feeling the heat. Dale Ellis is in to try to provide a spark against his former teammates. Stops his Bennett Salvatore. And this is another foul on Sean Elliott. Sean Elliott at 6'8", 215. And he is completely obscured from view when he's standing behind Rodney Rogers.
Can't even make a nice shadow. I tell you what, and they're going to do that. That was a nice play, and maybe you'll see more of this as the third quarter, fourth quarter develops. A two-man play, Rodney going and setting a screen on Dale Ellis. That time Robinson switches on Ellis because of a good screen, and now you got the mismatch inside. And the Nuggets are going to have to, if they're going to win this game, they're shooting the free throws pretty well. They've got to continue to do that, and they've got to make certain that they keep the Admiral under control on the other end.
Well, the Admiral controls that rebound on this end. 76-71. There's the arithmetic in the closing minutes of the third quarter. Elliott got it. A little hesitation. And Elliott's shot starting to return.
You know, it's kind of confusing with the size of defense that the Nuggets have right now. They should be switching all down screens, and there's no reason a guy should get that wide open.
Spurs to within 3. And inside, another foul is called on Sean Elliott. So that is his fourth. Spurs just may not have enough players at the end of the game. Elliott has 4. Avery Johnson has 4. Willie Anderson has 5 fouls.
Don't forget Wusu.
Wusu, that's as in Julius.
Julius.
He's Dr. N, right? Julius Wusu.
Of course, he could just be NW and call it Northwest.
Or Norwest.
Oh, there you go.
First point of the game for Dale Ellis. He went out a big game against the team that is not interested in signing him. He was second leading scorer for a Spurs club that won 55 games last year, but San Antonio wanted to go in another direction. Spurs playing without Rodman, who's on a leave of absence, mutually consented. Elliott in trouble, now has some room. And Smith over the back of Cummings. And here's Robert Pack. 2 minutes to go in the third. Ellis pulls the trigger and just pulled it too hard from downtown.
Kind of rushed that. Nice pass and nice look. I think Dale really wanted to get that shot up. He's telling Lee Jones that Sean Elliott flew by and hit him on the wrist, but he got a quick shot that one and shot a little firm.
He had 16 points, hitting 7 of 11 from the field in the game against Utah, but Ellis still searching for his first field goal in 3 attempts. Person fires, and Stiff gets a piece of that one. Robinson to Cummings. Stiff was the man who got in the way. 1:20 left in the third. Dale Ellis scoots inside, sets up Pack. Pack stops, turns, and the jumper is good. Big basket for Pack, his first in the second half. And the Nuggets now by 7. Robert Pack with 24. He's 3 points shy of his career high. Backdoor, nobody home but Chuck Person.
See, you can't double a guy from the baseline because what happens, all the other weak side help is above the free throw line. If you come from block to block, that leaves that guy wide open. Tough for the defense to rotate that quickly.
Pack wants it inside against Whitney for the reverse, and he'll get to the foul line. And that's foul number 4 on Whitney. Demolition derby for Robert Pack. He single-handedly is putting many of these Spurs in the. He had 26 points Saturday night against Utah. And he is now going for number 25. 9 of 12 from the foul line tonight for Pack. And this was his first foul shot in the second half. Pack also putting in a lot of minutes. Could he be feeling the wear and tear, especially without Raouf tonight and Jalen Rose not getting much playing time? Pack asked to carry the load. He has played all but 3 minutes in the game. Whitney Robinson, the long reach, keeps it alive. 27 points now for David Robinson. And again, the Spurs within 3.
And think back to the last time the Nuggets got a fast break. They're giving up second shots. And there's defense of San Antonio's picking up the Denver Nuggets early. But that's when they got the lead, when they were breaking.
There's the time remaining in the quarter. Rodney Rogers overshoots. Hammonds grabs it down, tries to save. And a whistle. Off of Phoenix to Seattle in Atlanta this year. By Jalen Rose. Having his number called to start the 4th quarter, Robert Pack gets a rest. So this is the most difficult situation Rose has been put in so far as a rookie. Mutombo from way outside. It comes into the hands of Dale Ellis, who is fouled.
See, the Nuggets are real fortunate right here. You're going to get Dale Ellis on the free throw line, a pretty good free throw shooter. But you get the ball to Dikembe Mutombo, 16 feet away from the basket with 7 seconds left. And Dikembe knows better to shoot that shot, but that right there suggests that there's something wrong with the offense. People are standing around. There's no movement. Guys aren't coming open clean on screens. And the reason for that is the guys are not setting screens right now. I mean, the way you get back to your role and the things going is you got to lay a body on somebody, and you got to let your shooters get open.
Mutombo with a tip off the missed foul shot. Nuggets are outscored in that 3rd quarter, 34-22. Nuggets led by as many as 18 points. This one's on Jalen Rose, and he has his 4th personal foul.
Jalen's really stressed. Sorry, he doesn't look comfortable the way he looked in the previous games. And I'm sure Dan Issel's over there sitting right now wishing, Mahmoud, where are you?
Well, Mahmoud hurt his hip in practice yesterday, and before game time decided that he was unable to go tonight. Whitney for 3. And Rose reaches up for the rebound. Into the hands of Hammonds. The push-off by Robinson. The fans applaud the call. David Robinson has his 4th personal foul, so he and Mutombo now are even in that category. See if the Nuggets try to take it in on Robinson. Jalen Rose here gets the stiff arm by Whitney. 1 minute gone by in the 4th. Reggie Williams, who has had the hot hand tonight for the Nuggets. Jalen Rose again a loss. A questionable shot that gets Dan Issel off the bench. Cummings finds the time, and a line drive jumper by Terry Cummings, and now the Nuggets are to within, or rather the Spurs to within 2. Rose and Williams with Hammonds, Ellis, and Mutombo. Nice pass. Rose delivered by Hammonds.
I tell you what, that's the 2nd time in the game, and David Robinson knows he's a little bit slow, and Tommy Hammonds, when he's in the air, he's going to throw that joker down.
83-79 Nuggets. Robinson the double team. Sean Elliott finds Cummings again open. Hammonds, he got the push, no foul, but the Nuggets with the ball. Jalen Rose at 6'8", goes to Ellis, flicks the wrist, swish with a man right in his face. First field goal tonight for Dale Ellis. And it comes at a great time against his former teammates. Nuggets get a little breathing room, and the crowd comes to life. Robinson one-on-one on Hammonds. No. But the loose ball goes back to San Antonio. Elliott for 3. Ripped down by Mutombo. Nuggets trying to build a little momentum here. It all started by the pass from Rose to Hammonds, who buried it. Rose calling out the play. Backing in on a smaller Whitney. And we have a whistle. This will go against Chuck Person. Person gets his 3rd personal foul. Both the Spurs and the Nuggets have 3-game win streaks coming into this one.
You look out there on the court and you talk about guys that look a little winded and has played a lot of minutes, and that's David Robinson. Been over grabbing the shorts, and David a little slow right here. Tommy said, I already let you see what I could do in the first half. You got to get there quicker. I'm going to do it again.
Robinson quick with the hands there. This game is now nearly 40 minutes old. And Robinson has played all but 3 minutes of the game. He averages 41 minutes a game. Dallas fading into the stands. Hits for 3. Dallas now is finding his shot. Hershey gets the step. Rejected by Mutombo, but the foul, and it's outside on Mutombo.
Oh, that is such a...
Don't say it.
No.
Don't regret it, but we know what you mean.
Well, Dikembe Mutombo is going to go out on him.
Oh, that's it. There's the call on just that.
I don't care. You can take that film and show it to all the muckety-mucks in the NBA, and if that's a foul, then that's a bad rule. But Dale Ellis can do this, that's for sure. The career leader in 3 points in the NBA. He gets hot, he's going to drain that shot all day when he's open. But that's a bad situation. Really too bad for the Nuggets, for Dikembe Mutombo to pick up number 5.
Cliff Levingston comes in for the first time. Whitney the fake. There's Person for 3. And he has been off the mark all night long. Great save by Reggie Williams. 88-79. Nuggets by 9. They're building it back up after the Spurs had to tighten the noose to 2. And now the Nuggets know that Mutombo's on the bench for most of this fourth quarter. Rose inside. Right hands. No. Big shot there. Could have given the Nuggets a double figures lead. And a cushion. Elliott comes right back. Nothing but net. 10 points for Elliott. All late. He only had 2 at halftime. Now Livingston, for the last couple of games, has 18 rebounds, of which 10 came off the offensive boards. Hammonds over Robinson. Oh, and he gets the hop. 14 points tonight for Hammonds. His high game of the year. And he takes Robinson out deep. Then they set him up the next time for the drive around him.
Yeah, and if he drives around David Robinson, the guy that long, you better make sure you got a step. And when you go to the hole, you better be doing what Tommy's done twice before, and that's slamming it.
Tommy has a quick release on the slam. Whitney whittles his way in.
See, there's no excuse for that. A pick and roll is a simple play. You got 2 small forwards guard the man. You switch it, and you don't let a guy get inside the seam. That time, Reggie a little slow, a little lazy, and lets Whitney beat him to the basket. 7.5 left on the clock, fourth quarter. Spurs will come back to make this a ball game. Livingston finds Hammonds, and there's the stuff as Tommy Hammonds one more time buries the ball. Willie, it's your turn.
16 points now for Tommy Hammonds, who's starting to steal the show for the Nuggets, pumping life into this Denver team. A force outside. Ill-advised shot by the young guard. Jalen Rose now with the Nuggets starting to get back in action. Taking the tempo back away from San Antonio. Reggie Williams, no. Hammonds, he feels it. He's got it. 18 for Hammonds, and 8 have come in a spurt here of a fourth. Timeout San Antonio, and the Nuggets fans as one rise in a standing ovation for the Nuggets, and especially for this man here. Hands to breathe, and remember, this is a Tommy Hammonds who injured his elbow a little earlier. Might have kept some other players out of the game. You know, it wasn't the shooting elbow.
Yeah, that is good. I tell you what, the thing about Tommy Hammonds, and we've talked about on the broadcast before last year, is he's a guy that could sit out for 4 games in a row. He is always going to play. That time he introduced his new, he needs to name him, behind the head tomahawk slam in your face to Willie Anderson. But Tommy Hammonds is a guy you've got to have on your team. Dan Issel said just that. And when you're down and when you're hurting and when you're losing some players, he's a guy who can step up and play for you.
How about the Hammonds hammer? There you go. He's shown that tonight. And now the Spurs, who have climbed all the way up the mountain from 18 down to move to within 2, have to start climbing again. They've rolled down the hill.
And I believe Cliff actually sneezed on David for his first foul of the evening.
You know, that's a technical.
Oh, is that? Okay.
Sneezing is a technical.
Now watch and see if he sneezes. There's the play underneath. There's the foul.
Oh, my. Robinson loses. The pesky Livingston gets in the way. Jalen Rose being followed by Robinson. With the hammer.
Hammer time. Tommy Hammonds.
4 straight hoops for Hammonds. He has 20 points, and he is breaking this one open. And there's the whistle to stop it one more time. And I'll make a prediction now that the Pepsi Big Slam will belong to Tommy Hammonds tonight.
He's taking all the highlights. Great pass by Jalen. No look. Tommy just runs the floor, gets back underneath the defense. Watch this no-look pass just cross court. That's a pretty pass. Prettier finish by Tommy Hammonds.
And you know, it was the Jalen Rose no-look pass early in the fourth quarter that really got Hammonds going. So Jalen Rose, who had struggled earlier, and finds out how he can help shape the offense. 96-85, Nuggets by 11, still 6 minutes and change left in the game. But have the Spurs made their run?
Rule. I mean, that almost hurt the press defense.
Remember, Jalen Rose came in with this a 2-point ball game. This is his most meaningful minutes of the year. He's backing down his man, and he is called for the foul. That is his 5th. And he's trying to figure this one out.
Well, when he's backing up right here, he's kind of leaning with his shoulder. Chris Whitney's doing a good job, flops around a little bit. A lot of times you'll see a no call there, but he is forcing the issue and causing the contact. And by the way, he is a rookie.
Key assist for Rose. He goes out to the hand from the crowd. Robert Pack comes back in. Pack getting the rest, so he should be fresh in the closing minutes. Willie Anderson rattles the rim. Oh, it'll be San Antonio ball.
Now Lee Jones out front is looking, didn't come in to step to correct that call. Dale Ellis, and that right there is an example of why if you can get the rebound, you should always grab it. Now watch Ellis down your bottom right-hand corner. There goes Elliott over his back to tip it out. Dale lets it go.
And now inside David Robinson is fouled. Dan Issel already has 1 technical tonight.
That's a good call. Cliff Livingston just undersized. Make David earn it from the free throw line as opposed to laying it up.
First point in the fourth quarter for Robinson.
And do not let him get a 3-point play. Make sure it is 2 free throws and not just 1 in the basket.
He still has exceeded his average. 29 for Robinson. He's coming off his season high of 35 against the Knicks. Upstairs goes Reggie Williams. He scraps for the loose ball. Robert Pack now looking to settle things down. Nuggets now could start using the clock, coming down to 5:15 left. An 11-point lead. Ellis, baseline. From behind, Anderson blocks it, but Denver will have the ball. With 8 seconds on the shot clock.
Boy, really a large margin in the shot blocking, and of course Dikembe sitting down most of the game. 9-3 San Antonio.
Overplaying is Whitney. Nuggets again, still 8 seconds on the clock. Nuggets will have 1 day off, back in action Thursday night right here against the Detroit Pistons. Rookie sensation Grant Hill, only appearance of the season. 6 seconds to shoot. Pack for 3. In desperation, time ticking down. Robert Pack has equaled his career high of 27 points. And the Nuggets lead grows to a dozen. Livingston draped all over Robinson, and you kind of get on a level for his impact for a team right now with the Robinsons and the Ewings and the Shaquille O'Neals. I mean, he's not going to do it on the offensive end, but neither did Bill Russell, and that's the kind of center Dikembe Mutombo may need. He could be the most important force on the team. This ball, though, will go to San Antonio.
Well, I tell you what, I've never seen 3 guys all watching one play, whether they don't have the onions to make the call or not, but deflection's going out of bounds. Somebody has to hit it. You got three guys that are, by the way, well-paid officials running down the floor. You think somebody would step up?
Of course, appreciates the play of Robinson, who has the best offensive game among the centers. Oh, and now Hammonds and is that Persons?
Chuck Persons and Tommy went down. Tommy was trying to get up, but Chuck Persons kept wallering on him. Chuck Persons may be and should be ejected. Tommy Hammonds was trying to get up.
Tommy Hammonds, who was involved in a couple of incidents last year. Now Dan Issel is on the floor, the Nuggets coach. With 4:24 to go, this one now could be getting out of control. Nuggets hold a 9-point lead. Spurs still very much in the ball game. Technical foul has been called, perhaps both. Well, San Antonio trying to find a way to stop Tommy Hammonds. Jalen Rose is back in. Pack releases to Hammonds, who hits, and he is fouled, muscling his way through the defense. Coast to coast is Avery Johnson, is a forgotten man, only his second. Mutombo, and Mutombo still looking for his first 6 block shots. Or check that, they now say 3.
Oh.
You know what? And the foul was not called.
Oh.
The foul was not called on the play. Tom Hammonds, 12 points in this fourth quarter alone. Came into this game averaging 8 a ball game. 22 tonight. He has scored 12 of the last 17 points for the Nuggets. And there's the pressure on Jalen Rose. 79. Nuggets lead down to 2. And they started to open it up with his floor directly off. Robinson clicks on the first foul shot. He's only 5 of 10 from the line tonight. The Nuggets now will go down the stretch with Pack and Stith in the backcourt, Rogers, Hammonds, and Williams up front. And there's Hammonds grabbing that rebound. 33 for Robinson. Nuggets with a 7-point lead. There's the arithmetic and the clock ticking. And upstairs goes Robinson for the rebound. There's Hammonds again.
I think Bob really cares that much. Team's still in it. I mean, go back to Utah, 9 seconds. Should have gone to San Antonio.
Reggie Williams looking for the no-look to Hammonds, and that is they give up 1 point, but unable to get 3 back. Tommy Hammonds, another rebound. That is his 9th. Be the star of the game.
Good point. Very good point.
Now we'll go to number 21 lined up with David Robinson there. Tom Hammonds. And Stith very quietly. They think this is part of the shakedown to restore the NBA away from what has become excessively physical. But these aren't the same players that played 30 years ago. The players are bigger and stronger, and there's a need for some contact.
Yeah, but what I don't understand is you get the ticky-tack, the reaching foul on Reggie just did, and Rodney's getting chested to death, and there's no call.
Crowder for 3. And there is the rookie who takes area, but it's for Tommy Hammonds, who has gone to the bench after a spectacular. And he hits the 30 mark for the first time in his career. Livingston will just hold it. And the Denver Nuggets have made it 4 in a row. They're out to the quick start. Took the challenge from the San Antonio Spurs, but repelled the Spurs in the fourth quarter. The Denver Nuggets 112, San Antonio 99. A 30-point effort for Robert Pack, but star of the game has to be Tom Hammonds with 22 points and doing it in the fourth quarter as the Spurs had moved to within 2. So Dan Issel leads his club off the floor with a record of 5-1, and now we'll look ahead at the Detroit Pistons on Thursday night. Let's send it back to the studio to Jim Conrad.
All right, Al.
His teammates. Isley tries a Jalen Rose pass, and Sean Rooks, who's just getting into the Minnesota system, if there indeed is a system, and I doubt that. You can say that there is. 123 to 97. The Nuggets Here's Jalen Rose trying to get 2 on his own. Isley switching hands on the dribble to get away from Rodney Rogers. Heaves the shot up. Nothing but net. 9 points for the rookie out of Boston College. And it's 123-99. The Nuggets with the ball in the lead. And every time Jalen Rose has the ball, there is that anticipation in the crowd. What is he going to do? And Cliff Livingston is in. Rodney Rogers goes out. And the experience of the veterans added to the Nuggets this year. Ellis in his 12th year. Livingston in his 11th. Fans already see tonight what Dale Ellis brings to the club. Now they get a look at Livingston. The little jumper. Livingston, a great infiltrator. Offensive rebounder. And nice guy for Dennis to look down the bench at certain moments during a game to be able to put in.
Plus, I think, as you mentioned, good for some of these young players because Cliff Livingston has played on World Championship teams, 2 in Chicago and 7, I think, NBA playoff teams. So he knows what you have to do to get there.
And you remember last year heading into the playoffs, only 2 Nuggets, guy you just looked at, Reggie Williams and Robert Pack, had playoff experience, and that was minuscule. So now all the Nuggets have that playoff experience, hardened playoff experience now. Robert Pack, who gained leaps and bounds in the playoffs. But now you add Livingston, who has 2 rings, and a Dale Ellis, who has been around in playoff action, especially with Seattle. Marshall downtown, and he is on target. The 4th three-pointer for Marshall has 23 points. And that's 8 straight now for the T-Wolves. They're down by 28. It's now 20. Rose wants to prove that he can hit from the outside and right in the face of his defender. One of the knocks of Rose coming out of Michigan. He didn't have an outside shot. Marshall can't do it again. It's run down by Slater. And now Rose with the open court. Reggie Williams is calling for the ball. Rose with the left hand. And on the elbow was Isley. And Isley becomes the first casualty of this game. I believe that is number 6 on him. No, check that, number 5.
Well, keep in mind that although that's the knock on Jalen Rose, his inability to be effective from the perimeter, and I'm not comparing him to Magic Johnson, but that's the same thing they said about Magic when he came out of Michigan State. Can't shoot from the perimeter, and this Magic worked himself into a pretty darn good perimeter shooter.
One more change for the Horse. Tommy Hammonds is back in. And Reggie Williams will go out with the tender knees, but Reggie, pretty nice start tonight. 5 of 8 from the floor, 12 points. This is after shooting 25% in the preseason. Jalen Rose, 2nd team All-American. And I get thrilled and delighted that he had dropped down to number 13 in the draft. They were taking a look at seeing if they might be able to trade up even as high as number 8 to get Jalen Rose.